Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, today we're going to continue our previous classes. We were talking about 37 factors of enlightenment, and today we're going to discuss about Eightfold Path. A couple of days before, we did one chapter of it. Today, I will try to conclude. Buddhism is a very simple thing. What Buddhism explains, that we are the responsible for our happiness. We are responsible for our suffering. It's not something that suffering has given by someone else. So, if we are in charge of our life, then staying in this world means lingering in this world for a long, long time, getting birth again and again, who is responsible for that? We are. If someone has to escape from it, if someone wants liberation, free from all this suffering, so that person himself can walk on that path. So in the 37 factors of enlightenment, we learn that how this liberation journey can begin and how we can develop ourselves. Because realization is not something that automatically comes. It is not something that you can teach someone. Like you go to school and you study those subjects and you have knowledge, you have understanding. That's all. It won't be realization. Like someone who invents something, for that person, how he feel after he complete his project, that happiness cannot be done by same happiness cannot be achieved by someone else who copy that. First discovery is a beautiful thing. Liberation is also something like that. So no one is there in the world who can achieve their goal in the first attempt. They have to struggle a lot. They have to prepare themselves. They have to practice again and again. They have to fail sometime. Dhamma is also something like this. Buddhism, what explains, is same. You have to practice. Some of the time you may fail when you're practicing, but you have to come back. You have to practice again. And then what happens in that time? You become more and more stronger. You have more understanding that who you are. Like for the simple thing, when we talked about 5 precepts in the Western perspective, it is very hard to practice, because entire world we have built up, if you tell someone that you don't have to lie anyone, and immediate reply you will get, it's not possible, because this entire world is sustaining because of lies. If you ask someone, give up on drinking, it's very hard for them, because we see this whole world is advertising and everything, promoting these things. But if someone understands, these precepts is for my own good. So, for first thing, he has to understand this is for myself. And the person who loves himself, what he will do? He will try to follow it. Some of the time, that person may skip Some of the time that person may fail, but after failing or without knowing if something happens, that person will be little bit regretful. I'm practicing this beautiful path and these obstacles is coming to my life. Then that person becomes more stronger and follows the path. Whatever the world thinks of you doesn't matter. Whatever the world is going toward, it's not our path to walk. Our path is toward happiness. And it's not something made up happiness. It is something that which can achieve from our practices. It's not a materialistic thing. We are gaining the inner peace. And that's important in Dhamma. For that, these 37 factors of enlightenment is there. You begin with the mindfulness, for establishment of mindfulness. You started from there and slowly you build up yourself. Some of the time, the meditation may get a little bit difficult to do, so you will fail. But you stand up again, you practice more. Wow. Up to these 7 factors of enlightenment, what you have done? You have built up yourself. You have prepared yourself to walk on the path, to come to that understanding. There are like any invention, what they do, they fail. So they have knowledge from there that yes, these things were there. I should not try these things. Same thing when you do practicing from different practices and you build yourself this, okay, this is the thing that I have to practice. And then the final step is called Noble Eightfold Path that we have to walk to gain liberation, to finish all the karma, to live the happy life. That is called Eightfold Path. And that is the realization Supreme Buddha achieved while sitting under the Bodhi tree. He realized that this is the middle path. Why the Buddha gave it the middle path? Because luxurious life will drag you toward extra luxurious life, So it will drag you toward again suffering. Because when you lose something, how you feel? You don't feel happy. You detach yourself from the reality. When you choose the path of suffering, complete suffering, that I have everything, that I want to renounce everything. That thing also, what it is, it also keeps you apart from reality. Supreme Buddha says, the middle path is to balance your life where you have been. Balance your life, that how to practice the path. That's why the middle path is there, which stops you from doing something wrong, stop you from act on without thinking. So, Eightfold Path is the thing Supreme Buddha mentioned. So in this Eightfold Path, as it says, eightfold. So there are 8 things we have to be prepare ourselves for walking. So this Eightfold Path is begin with 2 things. If we have these 2 things, then walking on this path becomes more and more easier. Supreme Buddha mentioned that every person is individual one. They have to be their own island. That's true. But walking on the path means everyone has to walk alone, but they cannot reach to destination without help. It means they need or we need assistance. And Supreme Buddha called that assistance or that help is called Kalyana Mitra. It means a noble friend. Without Kalyan Mitra's help, it is impossible for us to walk on the path. See, for the same realization, Supreme Buddha has to take for longer path. He has to suffer a lot to come to that realization. Eons and eons he has practiced this Dhamma, studied, and then the realization came. But for us, the path is there. We just need noble friend, like a Supreme Buddha, to understand this Dhamma and walk on that. Second thing Supreme Buddha mentioned is called appamada. Appamada means diligence. So these two things we need to practice this path. One is called noble friend, and second is called heedful or diligence. Without these two things, it is close to impossible for us to walk. So how these two things is matter in the Dhamma? Supreme Buddha mentioned these two things, that is two paths. First is called Sammaditthi. Okay, so in this world, there are two paths exist in the way. One called right, eightfold path, and the one is the wrong one. Okay, so the two ends that what the Buddha explained there, it's about the wrong practices. The right practices is called eightfold path, is right view, and right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Okay, so these eightfold path is there. How this noble friend and diligence will help us to practice that, we're going to learn today. Simply, right view is the thing that cannot be given by teaching. Okay, it's how many times you read, how many times someone explains to us. It's not there that you can get it from the books, or you can. It is called realization is there. For that, we have to be stronger in some of the things. So Supreme Buddha divide this right view in two different paths. It's called one, Supreme Buddha said first, is called worldly right view. First one is called worldly right view. What is that? So it says, the worldly right view is Atti Dinnam. Atti Dinnam means there is generosity. Atti Yittam. Atti Hutam. It means generosity. There is help to someone need help, so we provide them. Sacrifice is there, not killing someone, okay, not in that kind of sacrifice, but to practicing Dhamma, or simply just assisting someone, not looking always for ourselves. So these things exist in this world, having believed that. Those are important things. Just believe on that. That is the Atti Dinnam, Atti Yittam, Atti Uttam. Then Supreme Buddha mentioned there is a Atti Sukara Dukkatanam Kammanam Palang Vipako. It means there is a result of our good and bad actions. What is that? So we feel happiness and we feel suffering. So the happiness that what we gain in our life, or the suffering also, it is the result of our own actions. So it's not just instant result, but sometimes it takes a longer time. We learn that lie cannot hide. It means it always reveals itself. Truth cannot hide. Lies also reveal itself. Same way, but it takes time sometimes. In the same way, the karma also takes times. Everything takes time to give result. In the same way, our actions also takes time to give result in our life. So believing on that these things, that our actions is the thing that gives result for our happiness and suffering. And then Supreme Buddha mentioned Atti Mata. There is a mother, someone special in our life. Because of them, yes, definitely we came here in this world because of our karma. We got our mother also because of our karma. But our mother is the someone who brought us. She was the cause that we come to this world. So showing reverence to her, assisting her, that is the most important thing we should have in our life. Believing on that. now we can see in this world, this belief is we are slowly losing, you know. Earlier time, the mother's word, the father's word was this everything for us. But now it's not something like that. So believing the mother is special, the father is special. We all we are together because of our karma, but they are the one who brought us in this world. So we can have this human life. We can make changes in our future. So remembering or believing on that or showing reverence toward them, that is the worldly right view. Worldly right view. Then Supreme Buddha explained there is a satta opapatika. There are beings who born spontaneously. Spontaneous birth, it means Supreme Buddha mentioned there are 4 ways to getting birth in this world. One is called Jalabhuj. Jalabhuj, it means birth from the womb. Second birth, Supreme Buddha said Andajit. Andajit means birth from eggs. Third one is called Sansedajit. Sansedajit means birth by moisture, the humid temperature. Automatically they are also born, but the temperature matters. And fourth one is called spontaneous birth. Opapatika. It means because of the karma, all things gathered together and the spontaneous birth are there. So these 4 births. So the fourth one exists because if we trust that, if we believe that the fourth birth means the spontaneous birth is there, then we have more trust. We can come to that understanding that ati ayang loko, this world exists, that where we are, this is the human world. This world exists. In the same way, ati paraloko, there are other worlds also exist, like animal world, we can see by our own eyes, but there are ghost world, there are titans world, there are hell, there are heavenly worlds, different, there are Brahma world. Those all worlds exist. Believing on that, that's called worldly right view. Then Supreme Buddha mentioned, there are teacher who has realized this life and the others, this world and other worlds by their self-realization and escape from it. And they teach the Dhamma or they teach the path to liberate. Such a teacher exists. So these are the views exist in this world. Supreme Buddha call it worldly right view. If someone has those beliefs, someone has this faith in them, they can understand the right view in the Eightfold Path. How? Because in the Eightfold Path, the first thing is called right view. It explains suffering exists. The 4 noble truths, realization of 4 noble truths, those are called right view. The noble right view. What? Existence of suffering. That we are in this world and this world is also causing suffering for us. What? That being born in this world is suffering, Supreme Buddha says. Getting old, this is suffering. Sickness is suffering. Death, dying is suffering. Departing from beloved people is suffering. Association with hateful people, that is suffering. Then, whatever we want, if we don't get, that is suffering. And then in the summary, in the short, the 5 aggregates of clinging is suffering. So you see this attachment, these 2 things, how they come together, combine together. First, you believe the worldly right view. In this world exists. In that time, what you believe, the karma is the thing. Whatever the action I take, Those are the things which cause the happiness and suffering. So if you believe on that, the karma which help us or which drag us to the different world and different births, that happens because of our actions. When you believe that there is this world, that I am in this world, in the same way there are other worlds, it means our birth can happen in different lifespans. We can born as a human, we can born as an animal, we can born as a ghost, we can born as a Titan's world, we can born in the hell world, or we can born in the heavenly world, in Brahma world. In those worlds, the one thing will be same, one thing will be equal, that if we born, there is aging, sickness, and death is always there. Because nothing in this world is permanent. If we born as an animal, there is no one is there who can live forever. You may have a longer lifespan than human world, but compared to the heavenly world, that is very small compared to the hell world. But even though in those worlds also, this birth, aging, sickness, and death can be found. That's why Supreme Buddha explained it's a noble right view, noble truth of suffering. Why? Because in this whole world, every being is affected by it. Every being comes under of birth, aging, sickness, and death. That's why it's a noble truth. Someone realized that. What they do then? They try to escape from this world. For escaping from this world, what they need? They need assistance. So the last worldly right view says that there are teachers who has realized this world and others by themselves. After realizing, they liberated themselves and they teach the Dhamma, they teach the path for liberation. That one teacher is called Supreme Buddha. So having worldly right view, it is very important to understand or achieve noble right view. That's why Supreme Buddha explained Eightfold Path is based, Eightfold Path with the help of noble friend. If noble friend is there, then we have this path. When we understand there is a mother and father is important, then there is a generosity is important, there is helping someone else is important, there is sacrifice is very important, then what we do? We collect the good karma, we collect happiness. That happiness helps us to practice diligence. These good things help us to develop diligence in our life. It makes us upperman. And then we practice the path. So the first noble truth of suffering. So in the suffering, realization is there. What? There is a birth. Being born is a suffering. Aging is suffering. Sickness is suffering. Death is suffering. Association with the hateful people is suffering. Departing from the beloved people is suffering. Whatever we want, if we don't get it, that is suffering. And in short, 5 aggregates of clinging is suffering. So this is the first noble truth. Second one, if this exists, then for this existence, there is a cause. Without cause, nothing can happen. For being birth, aging, sickness, and death, there is a reason behind it. So Supreme Buddha said the second noble truth is origin of suffering. This exists because of something exists already. If we do not have the karma to be born, is it possible to get birth in this world? No. If we do not have a karma to achieve something or gain something, If we don't have that, we cannot achieve that. In the same way. So the origin is there. We born in this world because of the origin. So that is the second noble truth Supreme Buddha mentioned. Third one is, if there is a reason behind this all things, so there must be way to stop it, stop to happening that, because we are the one who create ourselves. No one is there, those super high power that make us move here and there. Nothing like that. We are the one who created. So if there is that we have created, it means there is to stop also. And that is called cessation of suffering. We can stop this suffering. That is the third noble truth. And the fourth one, if the cessation is there, and what is it? It is called noble eightfold path. That so realization of that, there is a path. Everything, for the suffering also happens because of we walk on that path. Happiness also happens because we practice to gain it. If we don't do anything, we can never gain anything in our life. If we do something, then there is chances to achievement. So the same way, Noble Eightfold Path is also, if we walk on this path, what it does, it stops us to create the karma, which becomes reason to being born in this world, and all this suffering comes in our life. So that is the first right view the Supreme Buddha explained. If someone realizes that, then the rest of path can be walked by this person. So if you investigate yourself, can you see these things exist in our life? Some of the time we have that, yes, some things I believe, some things I don't. The worldly noble truth, that is also there. Sometimes we believe, some things we don't. So our first attempt should be to investigate ourselves. Do I have this worldly right view exist in me? So try to find it in yourself. If you have these beliefs, then be happy about it. Yes, I have the thing which will help me to achieve the noble truth or achieve the right view. So for all of us who are practicing for a long time, next week, tell me that have you investigated these things? This worldly right view does exist or not? Okay, that is a homework. Then second, Supreme Buddha explained right intention. Second one, Prathamocha bhikkave samma sankappo. What is the right intention? Nekkamma sankappo. Nekkamma, it means renunciation. Renunciation, it means not giving up everything in that way, like leave your home, not like that. The renunciation, it means whatever the attachment we have toward this world, not with this, means to food or these things, you have to take everything. Like this Dhamma is for the monks, and this Dhamma is for the devotees also, the lay followers. So if the renunciation, it means that giving up everything, it's not. The attachment what we have toward this world, the bounds what we have, I want, like most of the time that we always think in next life, I want to be something like this. I want these things. I want this. So the attachment what we have toward these worldly things, getting rid of that. Intention of renunciation. Nekkamma sankappo. Then second one is called abhyapada sankappo. Abhyapada means non-ill will. Whatever that we have, the hatred toward this world, always in our everyday time, whenever we follow the path, whenever we walk everywhere, we face some people that cause difficulties in our life. We can see them and automatically we get angry. If we are not succeeding, whom we blame? We don't blame ourselves, we blame someone else. Because of them, these things is happen. So what we do, we develop anger, ill will toward them. So this ill will is the one thing which drags for long, long time, which comes back in our life for long, long time. We learned last time the one of the story of Devadatta. Simple thing. What was the story? That when there was as a two merchants, one tried to trick the old lady to buy her gold plate with the minimum amount. But the Bodhisattva, he gave the right price, and the anger that how this person can took my customer, just because of that anger, the ill will happen. He developed the ill will toward the Bodhisattva, and how long that journey is. He ended in this life to become the monk under the Supreme Buddha, even though he was unable to realize Dhamma. This ill will is that much severe, that much problem it causes in our life. So we have to understand. Means the Supreme Buddha is there. He is teaching Dhamma. This Devadatta is ordained under him. He is practicing virtue. He is listening Dhamma. He has developed the meditation and psychic powers also. Even though he is unable to realize this noble truth. Why? Because of ill will. Because of ill will. That's why the second one is the Samma Sankappa, the right intention, is intention of non-ill will. So practicing that in our life, that is important. Then Avihimsa Sankappo, intention of harmlessness. It means not to hurt yourself, not to hurt anyone else. So developing loving kindness, compassion toward all the beings. That is there. Developing compassion. That is the Samma Sankalpa. Samma Sankalpa, right intention is to being compassionate, developing loving kindness toward all the beings. First is Nekkhamma Sankalpa, intention of renunciation, giving up of all the attachment to all these worldly things, all the bounds what we have, what we are creating, giving up on them. Second one, intention of non-ill will. Then third one is intention of harmlessness. That these three things is called right intention. If you see, if someone have these three things in their life, how beautiful that being should be, how beautiful that person will be. Think of that. Imagine if you have these good qualities, then how your life will be. Yes, in this today's world, it will be little bit difficult for that person. He has to take extra step. He has to walk extra mile to achieve the same goal as other people's are. But his life will be blameless. His life will be completely free from any regret and remorse. That is Supreme Buddha's Dhamma. Without harming anyone else, without hurting yourself. Because when you regret something, who you are hurting? Yourself. When you have remorse towards something, who's remorsing? We are. That's the thing. So, if someone have this right intention, then for them, this life becomes most beautiful. It is kind of divine life. Even heavenly beings not have these things in their life. That's why the Supreme Buddha is teacher of gods and humans. Because they also want to have the same thing in their life, the right intention. Then next one is Supreme Buddha says, who has the right intention for that person, their actions, their behavior, it will be changed. In what way? Supreme Buddha explained, Katamaj bhikkhave samma vacha. And what is the right speech? So this person, he begins with all the relations, how they happens after the communication. If you are looking for someone person, there is no interaction. Yet, yes, they can have the little bit of, you can see someone, but once you have the conversation with them, then you make the characters, you create that person completely. So Samma vacha is the thing, right? Speech is there. Supreme Buddha mentioned, Yoko bhikkhave musavada veramani. So abstain from telling lies. Pisunaya vachaya veramani. Abstaining from divisive speech. Parusaya vachaya veramani. It means harsh word, abstaining from harsh words. Sampapalapa veramani. Abstaining from ideal chatter. That thing. Ayam uchati bhikkhave samma vacha. Because this is the right speech. So remember these things. If someone has a right intention, what? Renunciation. When they have that renunciation, they cannot be someone's, I want something from them to get attached with them. So telling lies, departing means dividing someone else. There, nothing is there for that person. When we are attaching with someone, when we want to be someone, then we use these all things. Okay, let me divide them. Let me use the lies. But someone has a right intention, then there is no lie, there is no dividing people. There is no harsh word for them to use, because that person has above these all things. That's why after right intention, there is right speech, not before that. This four kind of speech will be this person's life. Then if someone is using this kind of speech, they will have the effort of the physical form also obliged with that. What is this? Katamocha bhikkhave samma kammanto. And what is the right action? Yoko bhikkhave panati pata veramani. The person who abstained from killing beings. Like when we say intention of avihinsa, harmlessness. So that someone has the intention of harmlessness, then it's not only for human beings, but it is for all the beings who exist in this. Animals, ghost world, hell beings, Titan worlds, heavenly beings, Brahma world. This harmlessness or this compassion is for every being. So when we say those things, then abstaining from panatipat, abstaining from killing beings, is exist there. So that there is no killing humans, there is no killing animals, So all the things what cause to kill someone will be stopped from that person's life. Adinna dana veramani, abstaining from stealing. Who has renounced all the attachment, who has given up the attachment, for that person, stealing will be meaningless, So his livelihood he will live without stealing anything. Then a brahmacharya veramani or kame sumichachara veramani, you can say. For the monks, it will be a brahmacharya. For the household people, it will be the kame sumichachara. Being true to your partner, not to cheat, not to go beyond that person, because we have made commitment. So that is called right action. Samma kammanto. Right action is not to kill anyone, not to steal, not to engage in sexual misconduct, not to cheat on your partner. So this thing is called Samma Kammanta. Who has these right actions, they will achieve the right livelihood, which will support this all things. So the Supreme Buddha explained, Ida Bhikkhave Arya Savako, here any noble disciple, Michha Ajivang Pahayam, Samma Ajivena Jivitang Kappeti. So he give up on the false livelihood and gain the right livelihood. So false livelihood and right livelihood, what is this exactly? Simply, which supports your right speech, right action. Those are the things with the right intention. If these things is supporting, your livelihood is supporting to your right intention, right speech, and right action, and that is called the right livelihood. Simply. So if your livelihood is causing you so much lies, then it is not yet the right livelihood. You can overcome of that. There is always chance to develop. If it is your livelihood is killing someone, then it cannot be. If when we say the intention of harmlessness, so if it is causing difficulties to someone, that's why this path, what Supreme Buddha's Dhamma is not for, means it is Dhamma for everyone, but liberation is only for few people. In this whole world, they can practice a different practices. For being born in the heavenly world or having the good life in different world, you don't need this completely right livelihood. You can use something else. You can have this scope with other things. But if you want to liberate, if you want to finish the karma which caused the suffering, then you must have right livelihood. So right livelihood is simple definition is which supports, which protects right intention, right speech, and right action. If these three things are together, then your livelihood is right livelihood. Then who has the right livelihood? So this person does not have anything to worry about. So Samma Vayamo for that person. Now, what he has done first he come to the light, he developed the knowledge of Samma Ditti. He understand the right view. Based on that right view, he developed right intention. Person has developed. Based on the right intention, Samma Vacha, the right speech, right action, and right livelihood has developed. Okay, so those things, first two things was with the mind, but right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood was physically formed, the outside form. Now the form, outside form has been secured. This person now what he has to do? He has to look inside. So the right Samma Vayama, the right effort is for what? To develop the mind. So what we learn from the Samma Padhana, same thing is developing here. What? Anupannanang papakanang akusalanang dhammanang nupadaya chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabati chittang paggannati padhati. What is it? Anupanna. The anupannanang papakanang akusalanang dhammanang. Unwholesome thoughts or unwholesome things which has not been arisen yet in our life, to not to give arisen, not to arise, Chandang Daniti, he developed desire or he developed will. Chandang Janiti Vayamati, he takes effort to stop it, the unwholesome things to appear in our life. Viryang Aravati, he developed energy toward it. Chittang Paganan, he make his mind the determination and establish on it for what? To these unwholesome thoughts or deeds should not be arise in our life. So it cannot be stopped by someone else. Hatred is not given by someone else. Hatred is arise within. Ill will is not from someone else. It is arise from within us. Desire, for sensual desire also. Those are all desires. It's not by someone else. It is developed within ourselves. That thing we have to understand. And then Supreme Buddha explained, Uppannanam papakasanam. Papakananga kusalanandam. Already the unwholesome thoughts and deeds are appeared in our life. Already we are practicing, already we have these things. To get rid of them. Uppannanam akusalanam dhammanam pahanaya. To get rid of these unwholesome things, what? He developed desire. Means or whatever things we have wronged in our life. Okay, this thing is causing so much problem to me. Let me get rid of it. So for that, what you need? First, you need intention. First you need the willpower. This is the wrong thing in my life. Let me bite it. So Chandang Janiti, develop wills. Vayamati, it takes effort to get rid of it. Viryangarabati, utilize the strength, Chittan Paganati, he make determination. I do not want this thing in my life. This unwholesome action, I do not want. Unwholesome things I do not want in my life. So he make that willpower. That is called second effort. Samma vayamo, right effort, second thing. Then Anupannanam kusalanam dhammana, the wholesome deeds which has not been arisen in our life yet, to be risen, to appear in our life. Same thing he does. He develops willpower, he takes effort, he strive for it, and then he make determination to achieve it. Then uppannanam kusalanam dhammanam titya, the wholesome deeds which already exist in our life. We have so many, every being in this world has good qualities. We have evil qualities too. So the before one was to get rid of them. But the good qualities what we have, those good qualities, what to do? Not to let them disappear. As you see, when we are very young, in childhood, our parents teach us, share your things, practice generosity. And then you may have seen the kids, what they do, when they have chocolate or something, they try to share, they play with toys and they share them. As we grow slowly, what we do? We lose that good things, we try to hold everything ourselves. We try to secure, sharing disappears from our life. When we are very young, we always understand not to say harsh word to anyone. We ask our kids to be polite, and they are polite. But as we grow old, what happens? This all rubbish from the world, we grasp them, and we lose this politeness, don't we? That thing is there. The kusalanam dhammanam titya. Titya, it means establishing them, keeping them alive, sustaining these good qualities, not letting them disappear. That is called right effort. So the uppannanam kusalanam dhammanam titya. Already the good qualities what we have to make it stable, sustain it. Asamosaya, not to get rid of, not to lose, but to biyo bhavaya, to be developed. Vepulaya, make it more bigger. If you are young age, you are generous, you should try, I want to be a more generous person. If in your young age, you are sharing your things, then in this, okay, I want to be that good person. If in your young age you are polite, then as you are going, I should be more polite than that. That is called Vepulaya, Bhavanaya, Paripurya, to be complete, fulfilled with these good things, feeling our life with this goodness. Chandang Janiti, I want to be a good person. So Chandan Janeti, Vayamati, Viryang Arabati, Chittan Pagnati Badati, develop willpower, develop what you call energy, arouse energy for that, and make determination. That is called right effort. Who's this right effort for? Who has already started with right intention, for that person. If you have intention to harm someone else, can you develop this goodness? It's not possible. If you have intention to be happy, if you have intention to do good, then these things can happen. Let me have these good things in my life. So if someone have these things, then they won't compare themselves. World may go somewhere else, because world, which direction it is going on, we all understand from that. It is driving us toward chaos. Not chaos meaning the worldly thing as global warming or that, but the human quality is what we are talking about. It's not about the world, outside world, but the human qualities. Earlier time, the respect was there, but now there is no respect. Earlier time, we show the reverence toward our teachers. Now, even in our West, even in this our country also, what we do, you're earning money from that. So we are not going to show the respect to you. We talk teacher with their name. Earlier time, we are unable to call their name. Now, the only name is there. Some of the time we use the Mr. and Mrs., for the professor or teacher, but most of the time that reverence, it is now, maybe the teachers were bad because of what the people found, but still the reverence, that the quality we have loosened. Respect for our family, respect for elders, that we are. Now we have to write it down in our metros, in our buses, that rise for the elders, give seat to those who are needed. Why? To ask people to do those things. Before, it was within them. Whenever they see someone is needed, they did. Those good qualities are disappearing now. This Dhamma is for them. So don't look at the world who is disappearing these qualities. Look at yourself, that you want, what good things you want to hold. When we shift our home, when we travel somewhere, what we take, we don't take all the things, furniture, everything, but we always preserve the photos, the albums, the memories, what we have, those which we take. Why? Because those were the good time that we shared. Same way, these good things we should protect. The Dhamma is for them. Then Katamacha Bhikkave Samma Sati, who has that right effort, that person develops right mindfulness. This mindfulness is the practicing the four establishment of mindfulness, developing concentration on body, concentration of feelings, concentration on mind, and concentration on phenomena. All the world living Dhamma, mindfulness of that. Then last one is called Katamach Bhikkave Samma Samadhi. And what is the right? Concentration. That is achieving the first jhana, achieving the second jhana, achieving third jhana, achieving fourth jhana. These jhanas are very, very important to cut all the bad karmas, all the good karmas. What it does, these jhanas stop us from taking the next birth. Simply, it gives us the enlightenment. It brings us in the state where we can never suffer again. And if you see the overall of this, one thing is very important. It's association of noble friend. For all this path, definitely we are practicing alone. Individually, we are practicing, but it cannot be practiced without someone's help. That someone's cannot be anyone. That someone only can be the noble friend, which will only help you to develop the good thing in your life, which will stop from doing wrong. That noble friend. So, if you have this noble friend in your life, you should be rejoiced. You should be very happy because everything in this world already has come to your life. Supreme Buddha, one day, Ananda Bhante asked from Supreme Buddha, Bhante, this noble friend, if someone got the noble friend in their life, they have already walked half of the path of enlightenment. Supreme Buddha says, Ananda, don't say like that. No. If someone has got the noble friend in their life, their complete path of enlightenment can be crossed, or they have complete path of enlightenment in front of them. That is the duty of noble. So, by this entire Dhamma, what 37 factors of enlightenment, which direction they lead, and whom we need in our life, it makes us very clear. So, for this eightfold path, try to find a noble friend in your life, associate with them, engage with the conversation with them, develop that harmony of Dhamma in your life with the noble friend. So, the noble friend is there, diligence will be there too, and this entire path will be completed. So, remember these 37 factors of enlightenment, and may these 37 factors of enlightenment be practiced by you. May this Dhamma be helpful for you to realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.